So this morning, we had a bunch of call-ins, so we're probably not going to meet a quorum. However, I still want to bring forward a lot of information that's out there that's happened since over the summer, since we haven't met. Thank you all for coming this morning. One of the things I'd like to start with, I don't know if all of you know, we lost a physician up in the Sullivan County area, and I'd like to take a moment of silence for Dr. Hibbert, who was the medical director up at Catskill for a while. Then he went over to Callicoon, and he died suddenly this past Saturday. And so I just wanted to take a moment of silence for him. Thank you all. Just some clarifications. Should we clarify who the officers are now on the...
You can do that.
Karen, go ahead. So the new vice president is?
David Grass.
Mr. David Grass. And the new treasurer is Denise?
Montana.
Okay. So next time it'll be reflected on our special stationery here. Mark Papish, Dr. Papish couldn't come today, and Dr. Ashad could not come today, so they both sent in an excused absence. Yeah, they needed a doctor's note. So they did. In review of the minutes from the June meeting, I didn't know if anyone had any additions, corrections, deletions. We can't vote on them, but we can at least put them into the minutes if anybody has anything they want to correct. Anything that they found was off or they wanted to add, just let us know and bring it forward. But we cannot sign off on the minutes since we don't have enough of a quorum. Under old business, the BLS and ALS protocols, as you know, the state finally put through their BLS protocols. It came across from the department, and we're now working on the whole rollout process. Mike, we can tag this into protocol since it's all in one kit and caboodle.
Sure. The answer is that we're waiting for the state. We don't know what to roll out because we don't know what their requirements are going to be. So we don't want to create requirements that are different than the Bureau's requirements. And so we're really in a holding pattern until CMEX SEMSCO, not this next week, but
the following week. Yep. And they've approved some of the
There's some training materials out there.
yeah, they approved some of the videos.
Yeah.
They did.
EMS
So
stations.
those ones are going to be approved already. However, the process of everything is quite slow. So we are waiting for exactly how it wants to be rolled out. They do feel, though, we should be using those videos.
Sure.
That has come down, so that everybody uses the same materials. But we'd like to have it come out, in a process.
Just a little bit of an update. I was at a conference call Wednesday with Ryan Greenberg and the rest of the program agencies, and they did say that the learning management system is 99% ready to go. They actually were going to release it Friday, but there were some issues. I have been on it, so I know what it looks like, and it's probably an hour and a half of PowerPoints and discussion showing what the differences are, and intermittently there are tests, single question tests. After each module there's 5 questions, there's 6 modules in total, and then at the end of it there's 20 questions, which encompasses everything that's there. After that, after you complete that, you need an 80 on that final test. You would get a certificate that gives you an hour and a half of CME credit, and it gives you, you need that certificate to apply for your next recertification. That's the way it's going to work. I think they did a good job on it. They did not train anything new. They just basically told you what the differences are. So if you're going to develop something around that, would be good. They are not requiring the the EMS Nation videos, but they are highly recommending them, and there are links to them within the test.
Bill, was there any discussion about whether the region was going to, or it was up to the region or the state to do any kind of a long or short?
There are two versions of it, a long and short. The short version is for regions that have BLS certification and do testing of their BLS people outside of the agency. So if the region has a program, they can, and they have taught the protocol update, then they can use the short one, which is about 20 minutes and the same 20-question test. The other one, which would be our region, because we don't really even know who all our BLS providers are, would be the long way. And it's to be done by CFR through paramedic. Everybody has to take it.
And just a short kudos to the region that we are trying to get an idea of who all of our BLS providers are.
Yes.
You guys are making efforts at that.
Yes, we are. When a provider signs on, they put in their certification number and the agency that they work for, the primary agency that they're working for, and that will determine which test that the state lets them sign into. So it will be controlled within the test. That wasn't working on Wednesday when I did see it, and some of the test questions didn't match the test answers in the final test. So that wasn't working. And then medical control was intertwined with medical command and medical control. So those are the three things I'm aware of that they were going to change. So hopefully they get all of that fixed.
Okay. Regional stroke advisory, that's still on hold, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Definitely pay for it.
Yeah, for right now.
Right.
And the collaborative protocol rollout you addressed right there. Service upgrades, Bill, do you want to talk about the agency that was asking us about?
Yeah, we had an agency call us.
Oh, sorry, there's no official upgrades. This was an issue, though.
Right. About upgrading to an AEMT agency. Right now, within our region, we have no AEMT agencies. Their issue with that is if they did upgrade, they could not do 24/7 at the AEMT level. They felt that they could do maybe 12 hours a day, usually in the evening. Right now, they have a problem getting out during the day. So they have mobile medic backing them up during the day as an ALS service, plus they supply their ALS. So they were wondering if they could bring forth an application with only having 12 hours instead of the full 24-hour service. And I told them that that doesn't work as in the structure that we're in, and we would have to reconsider that and discuss it here. And I talked to Pam about it this morning and whether we should do that or not. And there's benefits on both sides, and I think that just has to be discussed further.
I think we should bring it to the protocol committee and everybody talk about it, because I think one of the things that's a problem is you're going to change the way we've always done this, so that changes how going forward the 24/7 requirement for everybody. If you make an exception for one agency, then that's the standard of policy going forward. That changes things very differently. And you don't want it to kind of blend into and roll over and people start trying to use it towards the ALS coverage, because that would not be effective or helpful for our region. They're a BLS agency right now. They get mutual aid from an ALS agency, and they're thinking that if they bring in the AEMTs, it'll help upgrade their services in their region. Again, though, I think, the 24/7 thing is a pretty important factor that you kind of have to cover. So we can bring it to the committee and we can discuss it further. We told them there's no action on it because it needs to go out to everybody and everybody talk about it. But it's a thing where this would be a real major change in the way we've always demanded that people, have 24/7. That was really what people should be bringing to the table as a standard of care. Okay. Evaluation subcommittee, there were no actions that I know of. Department of Health enforcement notifications. I've got a couple. So, Jonah Yoon out of Plainview, New York, was suspended for 1 year effective May 31st, placed on probation for 3 years, and assessed a civil penalty for a violation of Part 800. Ursula Brazemore, out of South Ozone Park, was suspended for 1 year effective May 31st, placed on probation for 3 years, and assessed a civil penalty, also for a violation of Part 800. Those are the only two notifications to put into the minutes today. You know, in terms of the whole process of narcotics and
They don't specify what the subsections or exactly what they did, they just tell you the part.
Yeah.
yeah, it's a huge portion of law. What do you call those things? You call them, it's a New York State, they're certified regulatory laws. And so they broke one of them. It can be narcotics, it can be, you know, they're not showing up, they're not keeping their stuff up to date. There can be a slew of things. But those are pretty stiff penalties for two people. They're generally not that high, so they did something. So those are the enforcement notifications. Helicopter committee, there was no meeting since the last time. They had nothing over the summer. RTEC.
So the RTEC meeting was July 12th.
That was
Somehow
a-
my name got put on this so that I did prepare. I think Karen did that to me.
Was it the boss?
I looked at it this morning and it was.
Nobody else wanted it. So I gave
Well,
someone.
it's how it goes, right? I don't know why she picked me, but, so the meeting was July 12th at St. Luke's. There is a new RTEC chair. It's the trauma medical director at Westchester Medical Center. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name, but it's spelled Prabhakaran, okay? Also, Debbie Lombardi, who has also been on the RTEC for a long time, is no longer involved in the RTEC. And there was a new pediatric trauma medical director at Westchester Medical who started in August as well, Dr. Dylan Stewart. Then Westchester Medical Center also reported that they will have an ambulance based in the Orange County area beginning on August 15 for interfacility transfers. And then they reviewed the trauma verifications. St. Luke's Level 3 re-verification scheduled for 11 of 19. NIAC Level 3 verified 2018, next verification 2021. Vassar Level 2 verified 2019, next verification 2022. Mid-Hudson Regional currently reporting year, Level 2 verification scheduled for 12 of 19. Orange Regional Medical Center Level 2 verified 2019. And Westchester Medical Center reporting year starting 10 of 19, Level 1 verification, adult and pediatrics, scheduled for 1 of 20. The next staff meetings are tomorrow at the Hilton in Troy, and the next one following that is Tuesday, January 28th, 2020, in the Hilton in Troy.
All right, thanks. Jeff, there's any pads, glucometers, Narcan? We signed up on the one at Harriman.
We have several.
Okay,
Myelin Fire for IN Narcan, Neversink Fire for BLS glucometry, Ulster Hose for BLS 12 lead, Bullfill Fire for Narcan, and Ulster Hose for glucometry.
so these are also CFR.
EMS first response.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Mike, protocol committee, do you want to talk about the two advisories?
Sure, actually we have several advisories. The first to discuss is the oxygen and pulse oximetry. Karen, was this distributed to the?
No, Pam told me not.
Okay. Well, I
Because
just-
we couldn't vote on it today, but
Okay.
we could let people look at it, but because we didn't have a quorum, I felt, I don't want to confuse everybody, but it is
Do you
the
care
standard
for
of
me
care.
to
Oh,
read it?
please read it, yeah.
Okay.
Because people need to know it's coming.
Right, okay. So this is a REMAC advisory, oxygen and pulse oximetry, regarding the use of oxygen and pulse oximetry, both the New York State Basic Life Support Protocols as well as the New York State Collaborative Protocols dictate that the administration of oxygen be primarily dictated by oxygen saturation of the blood. The following are excerpts from the 2019 statewide BLS protocols. Oxygen therapy via non-rebreather mask, 10 to 15 liters per minute, or nasal cleaning to a 6 liters per minute, to maintain oxygen saturation if saturation is less than 94%, or to effectively manage other signs of dyspnea. Oxygen should be titrated to maximum saturation at or just above 94%, and or to treat signs of dyspnea. If there is a situation in which the patient may be unstable and hypoxia might be missed, such as major trauma, it is acceptable to place the patient on high flow oxygen. This protocol is in response to the science behind the administration of high flow oxygen to patients and the potential harmful effects it may have on patients in certain circumstances. Based on the evidence and the change in protocol, it is the recommendation of the Hudson Valley REMAC Protocol Committee that all first response personnel in transporting vehicles be capable of giving oxygen, be equipped with a pulse oximeter to properly assess the oxygen saturation and make an appropriate decision regarding oxygen therapy. Having this valuable tool as a standard of care, assuring our providers are making good clinical decisions with information gathered through good, thorough assessments and real-time data. If approved, this information should be shared with the regional training agencies. This should be suggested information when teaching patient assessment, both medical and trauma and oxygen administration. So I believe that we've revised this slightly to just pare it down, but that's the gist of the conversation.
Yeah, there was a lot of conversation, actually way beyond our region through the collaborative protocols, because people were really concerned with what number were we using and why did we pick 94. So that was the premise behind giving the evidence based upon why it was decided that way. But since we cannot vote today, well, you know, it's an advisory that's coming out, but we have to be able to vote on it to approve it.
So we'll bring that back at the next one.
Yep.
And it'll be just a pared-down document.
Yep.
With regards to that. Previously adopted at the, well, I don't even know which meeting, the last meeting, whenever that was here, was the termination of resuscitation. And that has been drafted, had that gone out to the group? The termination of resuscitation advisory. Okay.
Did I send it out, Pam?
I didn't see it.
Okay.
It was, the meeting was
So that
June,
was
the meeting
read-
was June 3rd.
Right,
That was-
I don't recall seeing it.
I didn't see it.
Yeah.
So that one's ready to go, because it was already previously approved, it probably can just go. I don't, it's 2 pages, I don't think you all want to hear me read that one.
No,
It's
you-
no different than it was
Do you
discussed
want
last.
me to go get it?
I'm sorry?
Do you want me to go get it?
No, I have it, it's
For
just,
them, I mean.
well, if they want a copy now, or just get a copy emailed.
Or send them electronically, yeah.
Send it-
I think it's
it'll
easier.
go out-
Yeah.
It should go out to everybody, that one is ready to go, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so, then the next one, we needed to address hemostatic dressings because it's referred to in the protocol and it's a regional decision. So the next one that was drafted regarding the use of hemostatic dressings, compressive devices and commercially manufactured tourniquets, both the New York State Basic Life Support protocols as well as the New York State Collaborative protocols provide for the use of junctional tourniquets, wound closure devices, and other hemostatic devices may be used in accordance with manufacturer's instructions. The REMAC supports the use of these devices and would encourage agencies to procure, carry, and deploy these devices according to protocol and scope of practice. So that also needs to come here for discussion, and obviously we'll have to come back to the next meeting as well.
Yes.
Everybody's good with that?
Yeah, I mean, I would just make it clear that which device they choose to use or carry, it really is an agency medical director's decision.
Yes, yeah, that's definitely spelled out,
Yeah.
that's where it comes from. And what you're comfortable with and educating them with and everybody using under your, you know, medical direction.
So that comes under the if equipped and trained.
I don't think tourniquets are with the training.
No, tourniquets I know are, but hemostatic, because I don't think everybody, I'm just curious, I don't know how.
I think it says if regionally approved is what I think it
Yeah,
says.
I don't think that one reads if equipped and trained.
That's correct. I think that one reads if regionally approved.
Thank you.
Then the next is the MIST, That was, again, previously approved here. It's been put on regional letterhead so that it can start being deployed to hospital EDs and ambulances so that people can use it to refer to it. Maybe we need to make it a little bit bigger. It looks like it's awful small, especially if you were trying to read it during the report. But so that's what that is.
We could probably just make it as an attachment to it that people could size for whatever.
And then that can go out as well. That has been approved as well. The EMS Summit, just a follow-up to that, a meeting is being planned for this fall here, and so you'll see some additional information coming forth on that. And then the other thing that I'll address and segue in so that the regional office maybe wants to give a different report on it, is that the regional office is reporting to us that there are several communication challenges with some of the BLS agencies and EMS coordinators in the region. They were going to look specifically at the ones that they have not heard from. The region recently acquired a software application, Constant Contact, which will allow them to send out mass emailings to a variety of different groups within the region. And so we're trying to collect this information so that we're able to push out the training materials and the protocol information. And they're running into some roadblocks. Karen specifically mentioned that at the meeting that Ulster, Putnam, and Rockland had not provided all of their information. Ulster has since the meeting, has submitted their information, so that is no longer a deficiency. But Putnam and Rockland appear to be where the most significant pockets of challenges are. And so we certainly want to ask the help of the medical directors to make sure that their agency information gets reported into the regional office. And so Karen and Jeff, do you have any more specifics? You were going to look at a specific list.
I got a couple more, like, agencies that sent in their provider emails.
Good.
It's not a lot of agencies. But there was an issue with somebody saying they had to get permission from their employees to send us their emails. So that's where it stands.
So there's a couple different pieces of information that the region needs. The region needs agency information, which is critical essentially for communication. The region is also asking for a listing of all EMT basics in the region. The challenge with that is that as agency heads, we're reluctant to forward email addresses of our staff without their permission to the regional office. Now, there's a couple ways to address that. As there are new sign-in sheets and the member signs in, they write their email address on that, they're giving that information directly to the region. Eventually, we also hope that there'll be a portal that they can then go sign up themselves to get that information and then to modify it from there. So that's with regards to the individuals, that's what Karen was just referring to. But we are still missing agency information from some of the agencies in the region. Okay, and so that's the bigger issue. So we don't even have the ability to communicate with some agencies.
Right. There's two things that are happening also. When a provider signs on to take the learning management presentation from New York State, they will be required to put in their email. And from what I understand, we should be able to get a report from that, explain and giving us back that information. So that should help us there.
Good.
The second thing that's happening is when an agency renews their operating certificate, which is every 2 years, it's going to become an electronic document. So what we're going to try to do at the next program agency meeting, which is the day before SEMSCO, is try to get the operational staff to include us in that so that we would get a copy of theirs. Since they're sending out electronically, it's just a matter of putting in HV REMSCO on the top as a CC. So hopefully we'll be able to get that information. That would greatly help us in keeping it. At least every 2 years we would have updated information. So we're looking forward for that.
And that's all I have.
Okay, great, thanks. A couple of notifications. The Bureau put out an advisory or a new policy in July, and hopefully everybody received it, about guidance for EMS for measles and the guidelines they have for both looking at transport considerations, infection control, and processes of making sure your own personnel are protected. So there was a nice policy statement put out. Hopefully everybody got it. It was done in July. If you need a copy, let me know. I can make sure you get a copy, but it was sent out directly from the Bureau.
There's also good information in the ASPR infectious disease playbook on measles as well. If you've been in the agency looking for more detail on how to decon and stuff like that, you can Google ASPR infectious disease playbook. It's like a 30-page document on all different infectious diseases and how to address transport and decon.
Then, David, we received your notification for the shortage of lidocaine again.
For this stage, I thought you were talking to our new vice president.
No, Mr. Violante. So sorry, Dave. So they said, you're David, he's Dave. So they said this would be a short period of time that the Bristol Jets will be out of.
They are hoping it's a short period of time. As a background, our pharmaceutical supply agency out of the Hudson Regional Hospital, as part of Westchester, cannot get Bristol Jets their, I don't know if I can say this on tape, they're on the black market looking for stuff for their own boxes. And so they have an alternative that's a vial that would just need to be used in place of that.
And just dilute it out.
Very much like epinephrine.
Yeah.
Where we can't get that and have to use a
People are
vial.
doing that, so.
Yeah.
Do it,
The two so expensive drugs, epinephrine and lidocaine. It's like crazy, but true.
If there's anything longer than a month, month and a half.
Yeah, then we may need to put something out, or,
I'll re-notify the region about
Okay.
what our plan is.
and we could put out like an advisor of exactly how people can do it and
Right.
such.
Yeah.
Okay, under new business, triage in the back?
Yes, so one of the things that I wanted the protocol committee to look at is being able to allow providers as a backup to the LifeNet and the Zoll systems of transmitting their EKGs, is to be able to take a picture through triage and send it through triage. I had 6 specific incidences where delays were caused in STEMIs coming into our facilities, that the EKGs could not be sent because either the crew was too far away from the truck, because it was a truck-based Wi-Fi, or there was a systematic failure in the cell network. But it seems that they can take a picture of the EKG and send that on the same cell network that we can't get the 3G to work out on, but it will send the picture to it. It allows for our facility to send that notification through the right channels, have our docs in the cardiology side look at it, say yes to the STEMI, and activate our STEMI protocols.
So we're doing this currently, why would the region need to approve that? It's already a compliant communication.
Because
It's-
some of the providers are reluctant to utilize the platform because they can't, they're told that it's not diagnostic. And I find it to be more diagnostic.
It's better
You can
quality
actually-
than
You can
what we
actually
get.
expand out and look at it
Yep.
in a higher resolution than what we get through LifeNet or Zoll.
Well, it sounds like it's up to the hospital, really. I mean, if
Yeah.
you're getting good quality, you're the ones that
Right,
make,
that's my point. I
you're
don't know
making
that
the
it's a
call.
regional decision. I think it's the STEMI centers with their agencies.
You're
I
making
wanted
the
to bring it
call.
to the protocol
Yeah.
committee to find out whether you wanted to dive into it or not.
I don't know
I'll
that
certainly be glad to put out.
we approve specific
A memo.
technologies. It's more that you actually send the EKG.
Right.
Or the STEMI.
And you're not talking in lieu of medical direction, you're just talking in supplementation
Yes,
of
supplementation. in
of
case
medical
of a
direction.
failure.
Yeah, because we kind of do it at the hospital even though we're not supposed to. Now, we do it through our personal phones and
Right.
It's
This
be-
one's
it's
okay.
better.
This is, the triage app is HIPAA compliant and the EKG is not stored on their phone.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think that was under the understanding you wanted to do it in lieu of medical control, and that I didn't like the idea
No,
of.
it's
Yeah.
not with medical control, it's the actual venue of getting it to the
Yeah,
medical
so
control.
that should be at the direction of the ED, what their capabilities are. We have to have electronic dissemination of the information, and as you know, we want it to be done in a timely fashion so people can have notifications and, get their crew in order, and get the staff available for whatever impending process is occurring. So I think, y'all can make those decisions, because that's not a REMAC
Okay, thank
issue
you.
there. But anything like that, at any time, you can bring to protocol committee for us to discuss and to go through. But as long as it's not in lieu of, that was the only thing.
Right, this is good, but you can do the same thing with Pulsara, you can do it with GE, you can do it with a lot of products out there that, yeah.
Okay. CMAC, like we just mentioned before, is going to be the 24th and 25th. There's been no meeting since we last met. And we had one medical standards conference call, and we just discussed, again, furthering along the protocols, and that was before the state had put out their BLS information. So it will continue on, but it hasn't become a final draft yet. And open forum, anything anybody wants to bring up?
If you notice, we do not have a stenographer here today, and we are probably not going to have them at our REMSCO meetings either, due to a budget cut in the finances of it. So that's one of the things that have been eliminated after looking at where our expenses were. But in certain situations, it will be required when we have certain votes, not so much here, but in the REMSCO, when we have a vote on, that requires a roll call vote, there will be a stenographer present. CON actions will have stenographers and stuff. But at this point, we looked at it, we record it, we have a video of it, and we have the recording, and we will put out minutes for it. So that would a big change in the way we're operating with that. Okay?
Should we be broadcasting these meetings via Zoom? Obviously, our attendance is low here today. Would that make it more convenient for some physicians to attend? And then do regulations need to be modified to allow for that? I
You
mean,
have to
it's,
allow electronic voting, right? So
well, no, yeah,
that's
exactly. I mean,
bylaws.
look, it's 2019,
Yeah.
and so, I mean, but it, I mean, we only meet, what, 4 times a year, or maybe 5, I don't even know what it is, but, and taking one out from underneath us really hurts us. Should we be looking to modernize that?
I don't believe that we can, under the executive order. I think they have to be present. And if if you do it electronically, and I have to look into it, but I don't believe you can. If you do it electronically, from what I understand, on the other side, the person that's out on the field would have to be a public place where anybody could walk in, because it's a public meeting. And I think anybody from the public anywhere needs to be invited and be able to attend. So if you had it remotely at your office, it would have to be then considered a public place, and people would have to be able to come in there and attend the meeting from that location. I believe that's the way it's.
Can we just verify that?
I will.
Just, I mean,
I
I
will
think for
definitely.
the benefit of the physicians, I think
Yeah.
it'll help them tremendously.
It's been a long time, though, that this is the first time we haven't had a quorum in years.
Yeah.
So, okay, anything else under open forum?
Yeah, I mean, just for discussion, the collaborative group is asking for some funds for the purpose of paying for the app rollout and the change that needs to be done. Certainly, I fully support the region contributing to this effort, and certainly would ask this body to throw that support behind it as well, so that, I mean, we're a part of this. This has been a group that works. We've finally been able to move the protocol along, the state lines, and I think we should support that.
Yeah, and we are one of the original regions. There was like four of us that started the whole collaborative protocol effort. Certainly, Remo was spearheading that movement. However, we were one of the original regions, so I feel strongly too. The cost for the new app and such, and the upgrade, and to make it viable for everyone is $7,500. So they're asking for each region to donate money towards that effort, if people can. And so I had sent a email to Bill this morning to say, I also support this motion, just so that we support, we have to, besides being part of it and actively involved in it, I think, monetarily, that we should be involved as much as we can, every little bit counts.
I think there's 3 regions so far that have signed up since
Yeah.
this morning.
Yeah. There was 2 original ones and 3 more have added on.
We're very close to New York City being the only non-participant.
Yeah,
Right.
that's very true.
Yeah, and he said that they're very close to having them added on, so it's
Yeah,
going to
We're
be.
working on that. Tomorrow's New York City REMAC meeting, we're going to approve it. We've reformatted the protocols to look like the collaborative now, so it's getting closer and closer. I think there'll always be a supplemental that they'll have, but I think it's getting close.
And that's okay, because again, they're so different from us. I mean, they have so many different things, their response time, their time to, hospital and such. So, but it would be just really nice for all the medics, just that we have the same collaborative protocols with regional differences like we all do. But it's really moving forward.
So Bill, what do we need to do to move this along?
Well, as part of the financing of it, I anticipated that we would have some kind of an update. I'm not exactly sure, I don't remember what the budget number was, but I did put some numbers in our budget.
Good.
So we,
300.
was it? But I think that,
For some reason, 300.
yeah, I'd have to look at the budget, but we do have money that we can put towards that. I'm not sure we can do a full share on that. I'm trying to figure out what,
I think it's
we
not really
will-
that anybody has had a share per se, but people have put in what they could.
well, in the past, when we've developed it, like the first development of it, the cost was dispersed over all of the
Agencies. And
program agencies that
Yeah.
were involved, and it was divided evenly, and everybody paid that share. We've also done the same thing for the maintenance over the years, so I do have money in the budget for that. Now, anticipating that we're going to have to, this is going to be a big change because of everything that's in there, we did put some money into the budget. I just got to see what that is. Unfortunately, the state is changed the way that they look at our budget and the way we spend money now. I used to be able to move stuff from one segment to another and change a few things. Now it's very tight. We had to sit down with them and we had to do a quarterly budget of what we're going to spend each quarter on each item. And we're kind of locked into that a little bit, so I'll have to look and see what it is and see if there's something that we have to change in it. So it's very tight. Anybody that doesn't know, our budget hasn't changed here in the office since 1998. We are running on a 1998 budget. No cost of living increases, no increases, nothing since 1998. So it's kind of tight to keep everything going, because everything else goes up.
And certainly the other regions are going to be in the same exact position.
They are.
So whatever one does, they can do across the state.
Right.
And so maybe we should throw our hat in the ring to say that we're interested in financially supporting this, so they know we're not just one of those outcasts.
Oh, no, I was
And then
planning
maybe
on...
discuss it when you have the program meeting the day before.
Right. Well, I have the budget number that we have in the office, so I'll take a look at what that is and see and
Thank you.
toss that in there.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
And along with the budget, they really stripped a lot of things out of it. We can't even buy water. We're not allowed to buy water for the office staff, all right? And some other things were taken away that we have to look at. It was an interesting, I was on a conference call a couple with Bill, and it's a whole different process.
Just set with the next CMAC, I know that the Training and Ed Committee is looking at some of the parts of Part 800 in terms of equipment to update that so that we no longer have to use sandbags for cervical stabilization. And some other items, so that is being opened up. Those were probably done prior to 1998.
I'm sure.
I don't know. And we are also looking at updating the QA/QI manual statewide as well. And we're working on that. It'll probably be implemented next year, but we'll have some updates at Vital Signs this year, which is at the end of October, I believe. Yes. And it's in Buffalo, so bring your warm underwear.
Yeah, hopefully before the snow.
It's already snowing.
Is it really? Oh, my God. Okay, anything else? All right, thank you, everybody. Sorry we didn't have a quorum today, but we still get a lot of information that's disseminated out there and move forward. Thanks, everyone.